are live. This is MDIB TV. If you don't know what MDIB stands for, you can see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen. It is My Degree is Black. I am Jamie and Latin Sims, co-founder of My Degree is Black and Prairie View A&M University alumnus.
All right, what's going on, people? So, J. Albert Nichols. So I'm gonna say this so that y'all don't put this in the comment. I'm a honorary Prairie View alumnus. My degree is Black-ish, but my money definitely goes back to PV. So, spent 5 years of my life there. So excited to be here.
Cool, man. Well, I want to do real quick before we want to do two things. We gotta want to ask you guys to hit that share button, please. You know how people forget. They set alarms on their phone and hit the snooze button. Hit that share button for us. Let them know that we are on live. We have the man on here with us. We're going to introduce him a little bit later. But before we do that, I want you guys to get up in our comments. They're not even DMs. Everybody can see it. So tell us where you're from, where you graduated from, what year. We need a roll call right now. Tell us where you guys are from. And as we're doing that, John is going to give you guys what is My Degree is Black, just in case you don't know. I mean, I wore these special colors for you, Orok. I hope you like them, man.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first of all, we're not gonna start with that. Okay.
All right.
I didn't come in here with no red and blue shirt on. No. So to the wonderful 16 people on here that and those that are continuing to come, and those that'll be watching this later on. My Degree is Black, simply put, is our mission to change the narratives that are associated with the HBCU experience, and not only just change them, but to really own our narratives. It is our way of saying, hey, we recognize how much value HBCUs have. And so we teach our story through history because we want to make it a better life for our children, for our grandchildren. So we create these platforms, and many of y'all have been there, right? These platforms of solidarity and really welcome all of us in so that we can increase awareness about HBCUs, so that we can share our own stories. And so that we can increase engagement to HBCUs and drive them dollars back to Black schools. So yeah, that's My Degree is Black. Definitely go check us out, mydegreeisblack.com. You might see your own story there, and we will definitely be sharing more. So go ahead, Jay. What we got, brother? What we got?
Man, we got one for the history books today. So we are unofficially launching MDIB TV. We will be doing this every week. So be looking out for the different guests that we will have. We will be highlighting HBCU alumnus as they give us their story, telling us stories about their experiences to share with the masses through interviews like these and the ones that are on our website. So we want you guys to see the content that they bring, the content that we'll be bringing, and we hope through the collaborative efforts that it'll add value to your life. So that's what we'll be doing. So
before you go even further, I want to your point, shout out all of the wonderful people that's then hit up our comments. Taz White from PV, Satrina Davis, it's my soror, just gonna throw that out there. PV alum, Latoya Lackey, that's my LS. Sharon Ibn. Oh, yo, man, that's what's up.
You got to know how to say that last name right. I had to learn it for a couple of days or months.
Look, you see, I said it real quick. It just went on. But check out Taz White's comment, right? Like these videos have helped her sister been influential in her sister choosing to go to PV, right? Like, and that's the goal. That's what we do all of this for. So that feels good. Taz White, you the real MVP?
Yeah.
So is your sister. Right, we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
That's awesome. So I mean, we are curators, but we're about to bring in the master curator here. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? This dude has changed cultures amongst HBCUs, PWIs, NAACPs, all of that. Any acronym you can come up with, So the man, the myth, the legend, Orok is in the building. Can y'all give me a virtual round of applause, please?
Mm,
If I was on the Breakfast Club, I hit you with one of them clues bombs.
Right. Yeah.
So
I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, we might need to put up a cash app. Orok, got to follow. We probably should have set up a GoFundMe before we did this. All right, we're gonna do it again next week.
Oh man, I'm down.
Man,
I'm down, man.
People love you, Orok. I mean, like I told you before, man, you're lovable, bro. I don't know where it came from, but with that being said, it's you can introduce yourself better than we can. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Yo, man. First of all, thank y'all for having me, man. It's fun times. Good to be here. Shout out to all my PVIs, man, in the comments. Taz, I see you, bro. Latoya, what's up? Sharon, everybody, man. Orok. I think that has been the introduction. First name, last name the same. Everybody's like, yo, where'd that come from? All that good stuff. I am, my father's Nigerian, my mom is American, so I got the best of both worlds growing up, man. Went to Hastings High School, Houston, Texas, A-Leaf SWAT. Then graduated from Woolridge, then came on to PV, man. And PV is where I really found my voice, man. And so I appreciate you all and love you all just as much because you all were part of the experience, man. So we in this thing, man. That's who I am. That's where I get my character from, man. Is my mom and my dad.
Okay.
That's so it sounds like Woolridge raised you.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Cool, man. So with that, I mean that takes us right into our next questions. How were you introduced to HBCUs just as a whole?
Man, if I want to be honest, the show A Different World, right? I saw college in a way that I hadn't seen it before, right? I knew, my father's Nigerian, so we always in the books, always got to study. He was kind of hammering us with that side, but I never seen what college life looks like, right? And so A Different World kind of put me on game, and then I got to PV, and I was like, yo, it's kind of like a different world, but in our world, it's our own thing. My father went to TSU, which is a pretty interesting dynamic there because he was the one that inspired me to apply to PV. So my dad filled out my scholarship application, got a scholarship to come here, and I was like, man, I don't want to go to PV. That's right down the street. And you hear a lot of people have stories like that. Like, man, PV wasn't my first choice. I was trying to go to MIT to build robots, right? Couldn't afford that MIT. Scholarship didn't cover all of what MIT was asking for us. And so my dad was like, yo, you got a choice, Louisiana Tech or Prairie View. And I was like, well, Louisiana Tech, nah, let's go to PV. So that's how I landed on the steps of HBCU. I didn't even know PV was an HBCU, right?
Wow.
I just knew it was Black.
Wow. That says a lot about Woolridge. I'm just kidding.
Right. Yeah.
No shade. No, that's cool. That's cool. Didn't know that about your dad. So tell us this. With that, when you stepped foot on the first time, that day one, think about day one, and you stepped foot the first time. I know you've seen A Different World. What was the transition like from Woolridge to PV?
Man, you would think it'd be seamless, man, but I was terrified. I was terrified coming to PV because, you go from this, that big fish syndrome. Now you're in a bigger pond, and it's like, yo, you got to get to know all these people. Clearly, it's cliques over here, it's different colors over here. Like, what's going on? What is all this? What does this all mean? And I'm with other freshmen who some are jumping in the water and some are kind of like scared to dive in. And I remember, one of the students that I came from PV with, they were like, yo, Orok, that's gonna be you. That's gonna be you one day. One of the pals was down there yelling and chanting and all that kind of stuff. And they was like, Orok, that's gonna be you one day. And I was like, nah, I don't see it. I don't even know if I'm gonna be here that long. Because I was completely terrified, man. And 2 weeks in, we came up in real dorms. So 2 weeks in, you ain't had no choice but to connect with your suite mates, your roommates, the people that live down the hall from you, the people that was in the TV room with you. Ain't had no choice but to see them, connect with them. We got class together. I see you on the yard. You ain't had no choice. So family just was almost automatic if you were open to the idea. And I love that so much. It was no turning back from there. I was like, yo, I don't know what this place is. I don't know what this place did, but I love it and I want to sell it. How do I bottle this and sell it to other people? Because this PV is the place to be.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
man.
good,
You
man.
know what's crazy, Jay, is I thought about what he just said with the scholarship piece, and it made me think about us.
Yeah.
So Jay and I were both going to OU.
Oh wow, yeah.
For the engineering program, got that for me, got that good scholarship that covered those out of state fees.
Yeah.
But all the rest of that stuff you have to pay for. And I mean, we'll as we kind of touch base on a couple of things later, we'll get into some similarities between all three of our stories. But the idea that, you know, here's PV opening up the doors for us, like really welcoming us in, like royalty, you know, like black families do when you come to the cookout, you know, and all of those things. And just not knowing that, being almost willing to go somewhere else where we have to pay more.
Yeah.
For what I believe is less.
Yeah. And appreciate you bringing up the terrified part, especially if we have any students or parents or students that are about to go to HBCUs. It's a misconception that if you are a person of color that you automatically gonna, when you're thrown into another place where relatable people of color, that you're like, oh, you're not gonna be terrified. Like I told John the other day, you can be a part of the culture and still have a culture shock.
Yeah. Tell us about that. Like, what was that?
Bro, you know, I preach, you know, now when I'm talking to new students, you know, people are like, oh, it's an all black school. Y'all not gonna get a lot of diversity there. And I'm like, yo, you have no clue how many different shades of black there are until you're in a place like this. Right. And that, you know, I don't want to be on the black horse, but you know, we got on our black shirts, and of course our degrees of black.
So black. This is a black platform. Go ahead.
It makes black that much more beautiful because you realize that your black ain't the only black. Right. And so it automatically stretches you, because now you're saying like, yo, you got the people from my hood and I know them. Right. But then I meet people who maybe from Houston too, got a completely different perspective. Dallas was huge at PV. So, you know, that was a different perspective. And then Prairie View was a melting pot for a lot of international students that were black as well. And so you got that experience. So you come to Prairie View and you're experiencing all these flavors. It feels big. And I know that that's kind of been a battle. We always trying to articulate how big and how diverse PV actually is, even though our skin colors may resemble in shade. And so that's going to be an age-old argument. But I applaud that argument every time, man, because there's so much to learn about life just in this one space.
Yeah, that was nuts. I almost cussed. Wrap up the interview like that. that last piece, man, like how diverse we are. But you know, like Jay and I talk about this with my degree is black a lot, and like our ability to really use this platform to bring in all HBCUs in a unified kind of front, and that HBCUs in general is really one of the only places, I think, maybe if I'm not being too forward in saying, the only place where you will get all of your black in one place. I don't know another place you can get all your black, you know, in a space. So yeah, man, that's,
and you know, PV on another page, and you know, PV call it, you know, the Ivy League or HBC, whatever. You know, we're everywhere with it. The spectrum is so huge, man. And so, you know, I'm gonna kind of brag about my fraternity a little bit, but you know, my fraternity had this little equation of how we recruited different people from different mindsets, and how the different mindsets made the whole fraternity even better in every endeavor, whether it was stepping, whether it's academics, whether it's oratory contests. We were on every single level, from athletics all the way to oratory. So, you know, Prairie View is kind of led in a larger piece. We get everybody from, you know, I don't want to say the hood, but you know, I grew up in the hood. So you get the hood cats and you get the cats that graduate top of their class, and you find out where they clash and they make magic out of that, you know? So I love to see stuff like this happening. I love to be a part of it. And I love to promote people coming to it.
Man, that's so good. I'm gonna have to move. You saying a mouthful, bro, and it's
My
so
bad,
good,
bro.
man.
My bad,
no,
man.
it's good, man. Because even that, I'll be real quick. I had a misconception, even of just like you said, black people as a whole, like just not even really understanding my whole culture. Even though I felt like I was really exposed to different things, but since my school I was in North Shore, it was like multicultural. All the hood dudes was hood. Like it wasn't nothing like that. But when I went to North Shore, when I went to Prairie View, the hood dudes was in engineering class acing it. You know what I'm saying? So I had never seen that. Like I just knew you hood. Like you wasn't hood and smart. Like it just didn't go together.
Right.
So no, that's good, man. how would you sum up what kind of student you were, or and how you was in that experience at the HBCU? What kind of student were you?
Golly.
From terrified to the king on campus.
Man,
right?
You know what? You know, a lot of people say that, you know, and I don't take that lightly. But I don't see that. I don't see that side of it, right? Because of course, you know, like I'm me. So I don't see the myth, the legend, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, yo, y'all, nah, I might have been on stage, I might have been DJing, but I was also in Alumni Hall eating with you too. You know what I'm saying? Like we was getting the KFC 60-piece wing together. Like that was us. Some of y'all don't know about KFC, but
Come on, man.
Yeah, man. But
that tropical joint.
Yeah, absolutely. The Twister, man.
Yeah, the Twister. There you go.
Yeah, man. But it's hard to say, but I can't. The only word that comes to mind is discovery, right? Like learning who I am from the reflections of myself and all the people around me, right? And I just think about all the individual moments that I've had with everybody that I interacted with, and how it's helped me become a better me, right? Like, you know, nobody knows this, and you know, we won't say any names, but J-Lat helped me see value in a young lady, you know, like, and that was just something. He was like, hey, let me holler at you real quick. I'm like, I bet. And we had a real life conversation about how to treat a young lady, right? And so there were just all these different perspectives, all these different experiences that completely just really helped me pour back into me, right? So that I can be the best me possible. And that's the weirdest part. I think a lot of people come to places, and especially in our culture, people want people to just, you pour into me, I didn't get this from you, so I'm mad, or whatever the case, man. But when you're in a space where you realize that you're growing at the same time, you pay just as much homage to the place as it's paying you.
Wow.
And so me and PV had this exchange. It just kept going from day to day. I had to go to class. I had to be at the party. I had to be at the events, because it was so rewarding, you know? And so the idea ultimately is to just come to a place like college at any level and discover who you are, because it's something to learn in your room. It's something to learn outside of your dorm. It's something to learn in the caf. It's something to learn, you know, while you're strolling, whatever the case may be. But you got to be open to everything that it's going to show you.
Good, man. Man, come on. you know how to make a first live show go really well. You make it really easy for your boy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh man,
I feel like I'm on that basketball team where I'm not the greatest player, but we keep winning. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm just trying to get the ship, baby. You know? So appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, don't we got all his friends, everybody to come join the live. So all of these comments, these posts, you know, like my degree is Black University. First dean is gonna be Orok.
Yeah.
Nice.
University president.
For sure. So we heard about you as a student during PV. I mean, we got some comments and talked about you always dancing, that you were a mentor. All that. If you want to tick for us later, we might have some time.
Yeah.
But let's talk about post PV. So let's fast forward to the last semester, your graduating year. Who is this guy that you are now, and how has he changed from the first day you stepped on the campus of PV? Like, what is those growth areas been? And what do you attribute to PV for those? And I know you might have hit some of them already, but if you
I'm gonna be 100% honest in this conversation, if that's okay.
Do it.
Yes, that's what.
But you know, being terrified is not a bad thing if you know what to do with it, you know. And so I think Prairie View really showed me in a lot of different ways how to show up, right? You know, I tell people all the time, like, yo, know why you're in a room every time you step into a room, right? And I will also say that I think Prairie View, undergrad Prairie View, right, like left me saying, okay, how should I show up in the room, right? So there's this thing about PV, you know, PV slave plantation. We got this rich history, you know, second order institution, First Nation, you know, all these kind of things. We got this history. It's rich. You feel that power, but I didn't walk away completely knowing how to show up in the room with all of me. Right, I was the DJ, right, and so I had that going for me. Like, I can rock a crowd. We had fun doing that. I was the announcer for the Marching Storm. Shout out to the Storm. You know, like, I had all these different pieces, but I didn't know completely who I was. Right. And so I walked away from PV saying, okay, I need to define who I am as a professional, right? As it relates to how I can come back to this place and do it and help people show up in the room. Right. And so that's what it was about. Like every time I've left Prairie View, whether to go to University of Florida, whether to go to North Carolina Central University, there was always this notion that I was coming back. You know, and even if I leave again, there's always going to be this notion that I'm coming back. Maybe not as a staff member or a faculty member, but I'm coming back for PV only because the time in which you're in undergrad is so critical to shaping who you are, right? I want every PV student to graduate from here knowing how to show up in any room they walk into, any room on any level, right? Knowing why you're there, knowing what you mean to get out of that experience, and walking away feeling like you were supposed to be there, you were meant to be there. And so that's the beauty. Like Prairie View just opened up so many doors, so many questions about life, about exploring, about discovery. And I was like, yo, like there's so much more to the world. There's so much more to me. I got to figure that out. And I want to figure that out, but then I want to give that back to the same place that gave it to me.
Man, that's yes, we're
People
gonna pass
really trying to get us to put the cash app on.
Right. Do we open up the doors to the
the doors are
trying to
open.
get an offering, man.
The doors are open.
Wow. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I think Jay and I, we talk about this. I just talked to one of my frat brothers, Andrew, yesterday, maybe the day before, for about an hour, and we were talking about how HBCUs create a space where you're able to see all of the potential of you.
Yep.
Across the board. Like it's the only place where you'll see a president, the lunch lady, the janitor, the teacher, the mentor, the librarian, all of them look like you in one space, right? And they all know each other. You know, like you don't get that anywhere else. And so to be able to walk away with all of those pieces and then say, hey, now I get to kind of formulate it and put it together the way that I want to put it together. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's up. So you running for the Nobel Peace, not Nobel, what is the Pulitzer Prize, one of them prizes.
Hey man,
badge of honor.
I can't write a caption on Instagram, man. Let alone try to write a novel or something. Yeah, man.
Oh man. And so because you have so much experience at other institutions, and you even once you're at PV, you had to travel for your job just to be with the different conglomerates of people and know how to do student engagement. Would you, how you describe your experience from where you were to where you are now? Do you attribute that to PV? Do you attribute that to being at HBCU, or would it have differed? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Man, I'm gonna say this, and it's not to bash the other school; it's just a different system, right? But at University of Florida, you know, it was almost as if you had to define your role when you walked in the door, right? What is that you want to do? What are you coming here for? Right. And so even as a staff member there, I remember when I was trying to expand and they were like, no, bro, this your lane. This is where you belong. And I was like, oh, okay. So don't venture out of that. Compared to PV, you know, PV was kind of like, yo, you can do that? Oh, wow. If you can draw like that, if you can design like that, can you design this entire wall? Right. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Right. Shalia Reed, I got to send shouts out to her because she was one of those people who was also kind of like mining the young talent. And she was like, yo, you take good pictures. Can you do a picture for this book we're about to publish? Right. And I'm like, yeah, like, whoa. Right. And so you, Prairie View is an incubator for you. Right. I want to put it on so many. I want to say, oh, at Prairie View, you're going to come and expand your this and you're going to come and expand your that. All you really got to do is walk in the door and be open, and you will expand the way you are meant to expand. Right. I mean, I got to give a shout out to Brian Dickens. I remember he kind of put me on Front Street one day when we were having a conversation in the PAL session. And that's what really took this thing to a whole different level, where, you know, people were seeing stuff in me that I didn't even know I was capable of. As a matter of fact, I didn't want no parts of. Right. But that's the kind of environment that PV breeds. Right. PV breeds this environment where you got people who are looking for what you have. Even if they don't know for sure if you have it yet, they just have a spirit. My homegirl Tiff Carr, I'm going to give her props to the day that I die, only because she sold her books for me to join PALS, which is where the whole train started.
Wow.
And she was a student right? I mean, she was a student, bro, and she was like, "Yo, I gotta, you got something, man." And I was like, "Nah, it's cool. You ain't gotta sell your books. What you want? We all poor. We all eat ramen noodles, right?" And she sold her books, and I'm like, "Yo, where did that come from? What was that about?" Right? So I can't say that my undergraduate experience at any other school would have been different. I just know that it felt spiritual being at Prairie View, right? It felt like these people were put in place to pluck me at the right times to serve at a level that I didn't even know I was capable of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying Prairie View is the original Wakanda? Got you. Just wanted to make sure that was clear for everybody there.
That's it.
Yeah, okay. Long as the people know, I just want to make sure that everybody that's tuning in knows that Prairie View is Wakanda.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely, man.
That feels good, man. I think the hard part about it, which shout out to my boy Taz. Like I know him and I have a lot of conversations, but the hardest part about it is getting people to see their worth in real time, right? And so that to me became my niche in the market. I was like, yo, we want to design yearbooks, cool. We want to take 600 students to Atlanta, cool. What do we want to do? We want to charter a plane to DC, bet we can do all that. That's the easy stuff. But can we connect to the individuals that we're serving in ways that help them see themselves as a better them, right? And that's really my whole hallmark, man. I started out in engineering, right? I wanted to get my PE, man, but then I worked in the Office of Student Engagement that gave me a platform to give students what was given to me, and I was like, yo, I'm in love with this, man. I'm home.
Yeah. That's dope. That's dope. You said something about just allowing people to see their worth in real time. Actually, I'm gonna shout him out right now. Hopefully he don't cry because he big crowd. But John did that for me in this business and this brand and this movement. No, real talk. Like he was like, yo, like you can't fail. You know what I'm saying? He was like, and even if you do, it's okay. Like, because we're gonna fail forward. And a lot of times, especially in this social media world or just now, like you have to be perfect versus being excellent. So those are two different things. Like it's just understanding who you are and your value, and that brings excellence even in your journey. So if you told that person to make the yearbook and the color scheme was a little bit off, but they put their heart into it, like they're still growing and into who they are. And so I feel that, and that was like my degree as Black wouldn't even be my degree as Black unless John would have had that talk with me. And I was like, okay, let's go for it then. So,
but I think to your point around this community, and so Prairie View incubates you, right? And we become incubators and conduits for others.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I looked up to both of y'all when I was in undergrad. Like I remember coming up to ask you about DJing the party, right? Like, and I was nervous and I was like, this, and you was just like, cool, you know what I'm saying? We had chatted a bit here and there in passing, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, but I didn't know you didn't know me, you know what I'm saying? And here I am now. I think I was president of Epsilon at the time. Epsilon Gamma Iota Engineering Fraternity, founded at PVAMU. We rich. We doing some great things. Cut that $90,000 check to the university. Shameless plug. You know what I'm saying? I got to make sure I throw that out there. No, but I remember that. And I remember like the only reason outside of going to Forest Brook High School where I was in Nesby, but a lot of my activeness in that was from the SPET program but my interactions with Jamie, like everything Jamie was doing, I wanted to do. Like, and I don't even know if I even communicated that to him as much when we were on the yard. But afterward, you know what I'm saying? We reconnected, like a lot of what he did, I followed those footsteps, and so for us to be able, for that incubation to be fluid, right, and ebb and flow, and kind of yin and yang for lack of a better way of saying it, I think that's something that I really do appreciate about PV and the family space. It's one of the only teaching institutions that still exists in the United States, like where you really do, get to discover who you are, and play around with it. PV is a safety net.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Man, are you good? You good? All right. We want to respect your time, but man, we engaged, man. We at our highest thing of viewers right now. I don't know if you came in late or what, but we if you good on time, we're gonna keep it rolling, man.
Let's rock, bro. Let's rock, man.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Might as well throw in that double kick now. That's when we get ready. We second win.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I like to ask about people's character. I don't even ask people what they do anymore because people identify what they do with who they are. And so that's why we started out with the character. But now I do want to start with what you do. So like when I first, I personally was told not to attend the HBCU because I wouldn't get the same opportunities and the same job offers as I went to a PWI. Now, mind you, I was told this by Black people, a Black counselor and a Black student that was going to LSU at the time. So a part of why we do is My Degree is Black Week because that narrative still lives right now. So we want you to tell us about your degree and your experiences and how that helped you now in your professional career.
Yeah. One thing Prairie definitely, I guess, instilled in me is how to be fluid, right? How to walk into a space and be able to mold yourself to what the space needs to be relevant in the space, right? And so that you take that one piece and you ask yourself, how can you show up in different spaces? Going to University of Florida, I was terrified because I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do what I did at PV here, right? Same thing with North Carolina, especially with Black people who are super critical with new people that come in that's not a part of the family. But it's really about, you talked about character, man. It's really about how well do you connect to your character despite, right? Whatever follows that, right? Despite all odds, no matter what the situation is, no matter what the opposition is, how do you stay to your character, right? The HBCU experience is so amazing, bro, because I think it actually gives us the ability to show up in a space completely different, right? And completely armed in ways that you're not just book ready, right? You're not just academically sound. You also have a way about yourself that shows you how to move in spaces and still succeed no matter what the opposition is. And so that's the piece that I love, right? HBCU conversation, we can talk about that. It's kind of like, if we meet an alpha that's on this coast or on that coast, we can always have a similar conversation. And that's the same with the HBCU experience. We can talk about some similarities in our experience, right? But we also can tout about, like if we were here, if we were present, if we let the people pour into us, who we become after that and how we show up in different rooms. I was reading some Instagram posts about the percentage of doctors and lawyers and all that kind of stuff that graduated from HBCUs and how HBCUs are the top producers of Black this and Black that, right? There's something special about graduating from an HBCU. There's something that changes you to make you not a finite figure, to make you ever changing. Like you can walk into a space and see it for what it is, command it for how you need to command it, and shape it into what you need to shape it into. And that's the beauty of it, man. And again, I don't know if you get that anywhere else, but in my experiences, HBCUs have a unique way of molding you.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. I know I can relate. John can relate too. So
yeah. I mean, you can't go out into a world of people that don't look like you if you without being in a place in where around people that look like you, where you can learn who you are, right? And I think that I was, again, go back to this conversation I just had with one of my frat brothers. We were talking about, like, and what I believe the two most formative years of your life. And we're talking about if we're talking about professionals, right? And not to say people who don't go to school aren't professionals or things like that, but we tend to do a lot of learning in two components of our lives. And that's in our early formative years. So like as a baby to like 5, 6 years old or whatever, right? We're learning all this information. We get older, we start testing against what we know. But right, hot is hot, cold is cold. Warm and cool are just variations of hot and cold, right? Like those things. Well, then when we get out of school, right, we turn 18 and we go one night, we go to sleep. It's telling us when to sleep, when to wake up, what to eat, all of those things. The next day, we're now doing it on our own. And it's literally a switch, right? And so like now you have to learn how to be an adult, right? And that's very formative for you and impactful. And I think if we as Black people do not go to when we don't go to HBCUs, we lose the opportunity to build that formation for us, that foundation of it, understanding really who we are as an adult in this world versus what we knew the night before, right? As a child, so to speak, into this world. So when you walk into a room with a bunch of people that don't look like you, it doesn't faze you because you know internally who you are. And that's not regardless of what happens in that room, but just the visual of this is no longer like Dorothy, I'm not in Kansas anymore, right? Like, but it's cool because I can bring Kansas wherever I am.
Yeah. And if I can just touch on that point, that line that you talk about, that turning point for our community is so fickle, right? It's so fickle. Like, I think we all know people that have fallen by the wayside because they couldn't jump on the other side of that line, right? That ability to turn that switch on and say, okay, this is new, this is different, let me adapt, right? And I think that's really why I'm here, right? I think that's really what I want Prairie View's niche to continue to be, is to be able to give people the ability to make that switch, no matter where they are, no matter what the situation is, no matter how it changes, to not be fearful to the point to where it prevents you from moving, but to be able to move and be able to move with the fear, with the doubt, but with the level of confidence that allows you to survive and then ultimately succeed in that space. So very good point there, brother.
Yeah, that's good. Speaking of good points, John made a good point, and we're going to ask this question before we go. We got to pay our sponsors. I mean,
yes,
we
sir.
are the sponsors, but we got to pay them. So before, I'm gonna ask you this one question. And me and John were talking, and he likes to, he like a Baptist preacher. You know what I'm saying? You give him a story, and he's able to make it like in 3 points and a shout type of thing. And he got everything got to start with a P. So I said, man, at HBCUs, it seems like people go back all the time. And you talked about this earlier. Like, people expect you to be back no matter in what title you're in. And then, but in PWIs, they don't go back, but they give back. And then, but at HBCUs, they go back and they don't give back. So what has been, since you've seen all the spectrums, you've been at a PWI, you've attended a HBCU, you've worked at 2 different HBCUs. What do you know the answer to what that is? Like, what's the give back versus the get back? I mean, sorry, the go back versus the give back.
Yeah. Oh man, this is going to be a tough conversation, all right? And I'm just going to lay it out, right? I went to University of Florida. My first application was to Northwestern in Illinois, right? Because I wanted to go to a completely different system of education, right? But wound up getting on at University of Florida. Shout out to my boy Shantae. University of Florida has a system. The system is, we're going to design it to where by the time you come here, within the first 6 weeks, within the first 6 months, within the first year, you're going to be so enculturated in how we do things as a Gator, right? I remember going into my training as a staff member, and I was like, yo, like, this place on a whole different level. I should have went to school here. And that was in my staff training, right? So they have systematic approaches to where you have to love this place to be here. Right. And so University of Florida can say, yes, we're going to guarantee that 95% of our graduates are going to love this place. Love, whole heart. Right. At Prairie View, we got here and we realized that the system was kind of interesting, but the people were amazing. Right. And so I walk away from Prairie View and I say, yo, Jamie, I love him. Yo, John, I love John. Right. So homecoming come around, I got to see them. Right. When I go to a situation and PV having a situation in downtown Houston or whatever the case, yo, I know for sure that I gotta link up with my LBs. I know for sure that I gotta holler at old girl that I used to like, for sure about those particular pieces, but you never think about that system that built me. Right. I talk about people that poured into me, people that saw something in me that just so happened to be at PV. Right. Whereas at University of Florida, I didn't know a person in the world, and I was already singing Gator Bait. Right. So how is it that I'm singing the school chants? How is it that I'm trying to find the next bottle of Gatorade to be a part of this Gator, this whole situation? And I just been here for 2 days. Right. Compared to Prairie View, for me, I was terrified for 2 weeks. Right. So there's something about understanding the system. And we could talk about that as it relates to what's happening now in the world. But there's something about understanding a system and how to take advantage of systems to work for your people. Right. And so that is my professional way of saying, I'm going to give back to my people. My professional way is saying, I'm going to try to touch every corner of the world and bring that back to the people that I know can benefit from it most. Right. there are so many other systems, right? And a lot of us are not privy when we're growing up to travel or see this or see that. Sometimes we don't get that experience. At North Carolina, one of the biggest things, you know, Prairie View, we was taking 555, 600 people on buses to Atlanta, whatever state we can go to, whatever school trip we can find. We was trying to make it happen, right? I took people to Atlanta and they were completely scared. And we were in North Carolina, right? 6 hours away from Atlanta. The students were some of the students were scared and they were like, yo, being in this hotel is enough for me. I'm gonna stay here all weekend because I ain't never been in a big city. Right. And I'm like, nope, not my people. Right. And so if I can help it, if I can figure out the systems, right? It's like math, it's like engineering. Once you learn the equation, you figure out how to apply it to every different situation to yield the exact same result from other systems. Right. And so I don't really abide by this whole like, oh man, A&M getting all the and such getting all the, I don't abide by any of that. I'm like, yo, you smart. You can see it. You know the equation. Learn the equation. Bring it back home. Right? Yeah. Prairie View, sometimes we graduate and we feel heartbroken about some of the things that we felt the system failed us in. Right? I have those stories. I'm sure everybody has those stories. But the question is, how do you come back and use the system to your advantage? Right? It's a system. It has its bounds, but there's no way we shouldn't still be succeeding. There's no way we shouldn't still be building new buildings, right? Like I came to sit out here because it's a new building. I love the business building, right?
I was going to say, I see you putting on for the university.
Yeah, just a little bit. You know,
backdrop.
we got
I need that in my Zoom backdrop.
That's it. We got the stock market ticker, right? And so the question was, why would you put a stock market ticker at HBCU? Like, wait a minute, why wouldn't you not put a stock market ticker at HBCU? Right? You've seen what knowledge of the stock market ticker does to a sophomore that's in the engineering program, that's in the business program, right? This stuff is already figured out in a lot of different situations.
Yeah.
Get out there, learn it, take the pieces of that system, every system, broken systems, non-broken systems, systems that you think are perfect, every single system we can take from and use to build for ourselves.
Yeah, I like that, man. I think you are absolutely spot on, you know, with that. I think one of the things that you kind of said, and Jay and I talk about with regard to my degree is Black and why this means so much to us is HBCUs, we don't do a great job at claiming our alumni and the greatness therein. If I graduated from Harvard, if I graduated from MIT, if I graduated from A&M, and somebody got up to introduce me at the school, right? I would be A&M alumnus first, before any title, before any name, before any recognition. The school would get it first. And many times we hear the same things happen at our schools, at our HBCUs, and HBCUs, but the school that you went to, the whole reason that you're here is the last thing that's said, if it's even said at all. You know, like we don't claim our greatness, you know, as much. And I think to your point, a part of it is this whole, I don't want to be a part of the system, right? This whole, like, so I'm being opposite of it, but I'm also losing all of the great components therein, because to not be the system is to be a system in and of itself.
True.
Right? Like, so it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing, right? Like to not decide is to make a decision.
Absolutely.
You know,
and when you said that, John, Christopher Bowser made a comment and said you should do a segment on our alumni that are in the military. And to me, that's saying exactly what you're saying, that there are a lot of people in the military that are alumni HBCUs and people don't know. They think that they went to, especially you say Prairie View A&M, oh, you went to A&M, and they're thinking Texas A&M. And so thank you, Christopher, for saying that and relating that to us.
Yeah, man, this is good. I figure if our and to your point, right? Like, so if as an institution, we don't do the best that we possibly could at owning our alumni, right? Then how do we ensure that our alumni own the institution? And we had this conversation. I think it's something that organizations in general, they happen, especially fraternities, sororities. At some point, you kind of run into a space where you push so hard for a line to build a relationship with themselves that you build a very strong line, right? But some really flawed members, right?
Yeah.
And so then and we think about, to your point around the around PV, right? Really strong cohorts, some really great classes. Like they look out for each other, but when they show up to homecoming, they're not showing up to PV's homecoming. They're showing up to go see my friend, to go connect with, you know. And so I know we got some stuff that we need to continue on, but Jay, I do want to throw in this question, if you don't mind. All right, how do we change that? Like what practically what practical applications can we do to start to change that that narrative, or to change that process, to back out of that?
Yeah, ultimately, more people got to be interested in the system. It's simple, and again, we can apply that to a lot of different things. You know, given the state of affairs right now, but more people got to be interested in the system. You see, you know, like me, student engagement was something that I enjoyed, right? However, I was curious about how to deliver engagement. How do we package engagement, and then how do we sell it to different populations? How do we make engagement connect to different people, right? And so if everybody, like, you know, I knew of Dr. Frazier, you know, so I knew of Dr. Frazier before I even got to Prairie View.
Yeah.
Right. And so people were invested in, not only are you going to go to Prairie View and get talked down to by this man, he gonna get you right. Right. But you're gonna have to wake up a little early to go to his class. Yeah, that's it. He called me sorry. He said, "You sorry." And then he pointed to this chick in the front row. He was like, "You'll never get a chick like her." And I was like, "What? Like, how you gonna talk to me like that, man?" You know, but he was so interested in math and how to deliver it to us, right? That he created a system for how to deliver mathematics to us, to Black folk, right? High level math, right? To the people that they say are low level and won't get it, right? So you got to be interested in systematic approaches, because systematic approaches will outlive you. One of my colleagues told me this. This year, and I was offended to the core. He said, "Orok, what you do for the students is only lasts for a moment. It's not sustainable." Right? And I was like, "Bet, I'll be back." Like, I appreciate that feedback. I'll be back, because not only do I want to make homecoming great, I want to put it to where you can guarantee that homecoming is going to be great. I want to put it to where you can guarantee that you step foot on your campus for a Pantherland Day, you're going to have the best experience possible, systematically, whether I'm here or not.
Yeah. Oh man, that's multi-generational decision making, right? And thinking.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I think that's the piece, right? And so what you're doing every time you do that is you're ensuring that the next generation, when they start this race, like they're starting ahead of where you were, right? Like if you're running 4 laps and the generation behind you is starting at the same part that you started at, the same point you started at, then we fail, right? Like we got to at least get you, you know, a lap ahead, right? Like you're supposed to have a head start. That's why we're doing all of this work, you know? So thank you for that. We appreciate it.
Yeah. You got something for us, John? You want to show the people something real quick? I'm giving you about a minute and a half if you do.
Okay, yeah. So I got a surprise for all y'all wonderful folks out here. But I'm gonna step away for a second, real quick. All right, I'm gonna be right back.
And then while he gone, I got some. You said something earlier about pals. And let me see. I don't have. I thought I had it. I thought I had a picture of you and pals on here. I don't have it.
No.
I put it on my story though. I did put it on my story.
Yeah. All right, y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Yeah. Come on. What you got for us, man?
Boom. We dropping.
Oh yeah.
Midnight tonight. My degree is Black Mass, because I know y'all gonna be outside anyway. And if you in Texas, the governor done told you y'all going back to school.
Yeah.
So while you in school, every Black educator on here need to have one of these on in their classroom.
Yeah.
While they delivering. So, you know, get your My Degree is Black face mask. They nice. Y'all got one of our shirts. Y'all know how nice the quality of our shirts are. The mask is the same. Incredibly breathable. Nice. Also, we're doing so we try to do one of these every year. So right now the whole site is 50% off. Go get you some gear and rep it. You know, y'all ain't going out as much, a little discretionary income. So gonna get you we appreciate it, because that is what allows us to capture these stories and to be able to produce these things and continue to share our narratives and all that. So train it. See, you know what I'm saying? See, Epsilon. I just want, you know, first person that said I need that mask. See, Epsilon.
Yo, let me be the second, man. Hey, I got a new program started, man. I want to cop 50, just off rip, print me up 50. We'll do the math on the back end. We good.
Oh! I knew I liked you. Everything I said before when we started.
Yeah, man.
This guy, man. I love it. I love it. Well, listen, we Orok, I don't know you know, with the algorithms or Instagram and stuff, I don't know how much you follow me, but I threw this question out there and I asked the lovely people of Pantherland that knew me. I said, when you see the word Orok, what do you think? And so these are the things that came up. So I want to share those with you. And we got some pictures to go with some of them as well.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
So yeah. So
oh, wow.
So the first thing that came to the number one thing, what do you think the number one thing that came up that said when they think of your name?
Man, I want to say hump day.
Close.
Okay.
It was you got a picture for me, John? Can you pull that up for me? On the this is what they show.
I like this show. I like this show.
John's gonna show you what I think you'll be able to see it.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, the number one thing was DJ No Tables, man. That was the number one thing.
Yo.
And actually, he gave you a little bit of love. John gave you some love on that one. I'm gonna give you a no love on this next one.
Okay.
Because this is really no table.
Yo.
Like literally, you did not have a table. You have a trash can, and a CD player. Looks like and a book of CDs on both sides.
Yeah. That's it.
Right. So yeah. And then you made I don't know if you was using one of the what software you was using. You threw that out there too. You know.
Yo, me and Corey Dixon, C Dixon Photo, shout out, man. we was playing with Photoshop, man, and we was trying to do this whole trailer thing because J-Lab, you had us messed up trying to compete on the trailer side, but you know, we was doing this whole trailer thing, and so we was playing with Photoshop back then, just having fun, man. Good times, man.
Yeah.
Good times.
So it's funny that you say that. It's funny that you say that. The second thing was that you were known for was
the trailer.
Yeah, the trailer, man. That's the second thing you know for, bro.
Take that down. Like, people looking at that. Take that down.
So and then this is what I'm wondering about.
No.
Like you were talking about Dr. Fraser calling you sorry and you wouldn't get that girl. How did a girl decide to even sit on this couch? Right?
Oh man!
But at the same time, you had multiple people in your house.
Multiple people, big parties, man. A great time. Big parties, man. Big parties,
man. So you definitely got it going on, man. And
that's crazy, man. Fun times, man.
Jay, I got a question because both of y'all are here. This is something I think all of the people want to know. Maybe some of the people don't want y'all to answer, but question. So it's two-part. The first is how these trailer parties come about. I just remember like one day just hearing like you guys, like I don't remember the start of it. Maybe it was already happening before I got to PV. Maybe, you know, it started afterward and I just wasn't in the in crowd and didn't know. But all I knew was like the word trailer party was like, I you know what I'm saying? Like it was scripture.
Jamie and the legend. Jamie and the legend.
I'm gonna say this one part. It's funny. It's certain words that you can't use. It's certain words that end with an A and certain words that end with an ER, right?
ER, yeah.
So Orok was the ER trailer. We was the A. And so people were like, the trailer party. And I said, oh, that's Orok's. We the trailer.
Yeah. we knew we was doing something when we had to, you know, let people know which trailer party we were talking about. Jay, like, when'd you get your trailer? I don't even know when you moved in, when you started doing function. I don't even remember, man.
It was I think it was 2002.
Oh, same with us.
Spring.
We was summer 2002, man.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, I grew up where trailers were taboo. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, if you lived in a trailer, that was bad business. But we found this deal on this trailer that we couldn't, couldn't pass up, and we had land. And so, Corey Dixon, Cedric Keys, Two Bowden, all the trailer reps were like, yo, they was like, yo, like we can use this field to play football and throw barbecues and all that kind of stuff. And that's how it started, man. We was bring your own meat and throw it on a pit. We're gonna play football. And then that turned into parties that would go into, until we woke the sun up, man.
Yeah, that's dope. We listen, Orok, Corey, and Cedric made us throw a party. We didn't even want to because everybody, that party was so full. People came to our house. We were having a party. We weren't. And we literally just threw a party out of just because people were there.
Yeah, man.
Why this trailer party moment?
That's not.
We'll say that to the after hours.
Yeah, that's after hours. Definitely.
Wind down. We're gonna have to go to Instagram for that or TikTok.
Yeah, right.
Black Planet. Shoot. So yeah, we're coming up on an hour, so we want to wrap up a little bit. I did have one other thing I think you can laugh at. I don't know if you had switched from Motorola to a PrimeCo phone yet or not.
Yo, not the Flip Daddy.
You're not even holding it. You lazy with it, bro.
Lazy with it, bro. Hey, that was hands free back before it even came out, bro.
Boy, as an innovator.
Yeah. Shout out to Phil Wade. He had the mascot joint, at the crib.
Oh,
man.
Love it. So we're gonna finish up. We're gonna wrap up now. John, do you see anything anything that we didn't hit on the comments that we need to hit? If not,
yeah, man, I think we're good. Everybody, we all reminiscing here, having this PV reunion, right? Kind of all reliving these memories. So, man, no, it's been good, a pleasure. It's a good time. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for rocking with us for an hour, giving us an hour of y'all life that y'all ain't get paid for. Like, we appreciate it.
Yeah. And Orok, I know you shared a lot, bro, and I think we covered some of the stuff that when I first talked to you that you want to make sure you share with the people. But there anything that you feel like you didn't share that you want to make sure, there's always that point that you want to make sure you leave with, that you want to make sure you hit that on the head?
Nah, other than, don't stop at emotions, right? We're going to feel it. You're going to get all the feels. That's a part of the experience. No matter what you choose to do, don't stop at the emotion, right? Make it finite. Get to the point to where with confidence that you're supposed to be where you are, but never stop at the emotion.
Awesome. So, man, for the current viewers and those who are going to rewatch, we're going to end it like this. It's our formal outro. So I'll start one, and then John will start, and you'll get the gist of it. I mean, I'll do one, he'll do one, and then you'll finish it off, and then we'll just cut the broadcast. So appreciate y'all being here. Here we go. So my name is Jamie Latin Sims. I'm a Prairie View alumnus. I lived in the trailer. Engineering major. I'm a father. I'm a husband, and my degree is Black.
Hey, my name is J. Albert Nichols. I am the National Director of Epsilon Gamma Iota Incorporated. I am a conduit, and I am a lover of Black people. And my degree is Black.
Yo. Mic check 1 2. Orok, son of Efyong Orok, lover of all things Black, everything Black, PVAMU, purple and gold all the way through. My degree is Black.
Let's go. Man, we love you, brother. We appreciate it.
Love you all, man.
Thank you for blessing us on the inaugural show, man. Hope you can tune in some Thursdays when we have some other people on there as well.
Much love, man. I support you all. My degree is Black is a beautiful thing, bro. Keep it rolling. I'm at PV. Let me know how I can help, man. We're going to keep it rocking.
Absolutely. Mass drop. Midnight.
Awesome. All right.
50 on deck. Be ready.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Appreciate everybody for tuning in. All right. Bye-bye.